many watchers on the other side of the globe, Antarctica, for instance. So we've got, I think, maybe the most COVID-hit program this afternoon. We've only got 2 performers. You're looking very lonely over there on the performers spot. So I'm going to take advantage of that just for a moment before we get started to advertise this. I've been going on about it to my classes, but it is a very special thing that's going to be happening in just over 3 weeks time, the 4th and the 5th of March, weekend of the 4th and 5th of March. So certainly for those people around Newcastle, especially this building, they'll be seeing this very beautiful poster everywhere. Hopefully it'll be very familiar already. And if you flick through the pages of the Wire magazine, which I know you all read anyway, then you'll see it filling up a whole page there as well. It's a really special event because it is a manifestation of the Tusk Festival, which happens every autumn in Newcastle and has gone on for over 10 years, which is the Northeast's primary new music festival for not just avant-garde, experimental music, but anything that's kind of cutting edge and new. This particular manifestation, Tusk North, is our first collaboration with Tusk as part of a university liaison with Tusk, and what we've done is we've actually put together a lot of staff members from this music department who you wouldn't necessarily normally associate with Tusk Festival. So obviously the highlight for everybody, for whatever reason you would like it to be, is going to be my collaboration with Larry Zazzo, who often takes this spot here and this microphone. So we're going to be performing together with our voices. I'll be playing the double bass, and Marianne will be kind of the referee on decks. So that isn't to miss anyway. That's on Friday evening. But there's so much more. There's going to be Bennett is going to be doing something really cool with his current project. David Clark is interviewing Supira Nagarayan, and I'm going to be getting the privilege to interview, along with Stuart Smith, I'm going to be interviewing as a public talk, Edward George. Now, since you've got a bit of time, I'm just going to tell you about Edward George quickly, because I think you should really all, just as a matter of principle in terms of music education, go and Google Edward George, The Strangeness of Dub, because that's a now 9-episode radio show that he's been doing for the last couple of years that is usually about 2 hours long, and he tells stories about Jamaican music, about sound system culture, but he tells them in a very particular way that they're really interesting stories, but he always very carefully and effortlessly works it into some really fantastic conceptual insight derived from the actual music. I mean, even just to hear someone talk about music in that way, even if you're not into Jamaican music or reggae or sound system or whatever, dance hall, it's just a great way to listen to someone talk about music. So that's one of the highlights for me. There's so much more happening. Hanabiel is going to be doing a trombone solo. I can't wait for that. And we've got some big names along there as well. Yao Bobby and Simon Grab, Dancer. Apartment House, the new music ensemble, are going to be playing Jim O'Rourke compositions. Imogen's doing something with the New Folk Collective. Just so much. So we've got 100 tickets that are available for students, so that they don't have to pay for anything. I would just say, come and hang out and enjoy everything. We've also got a fringe event on Saturday afternoon, which will include students that are even here today who have already performed this year. And also some post-grads. So there's just so much going on. Just hang out there. The weather's probably going to be horrible, which would be brilliant because there'll be nothing else to do except be at the Lytton Phil on for a weekend. Already thanks in advance to Rob and Fred, because they're going to be part of the amazing team that's going to make that happen. All right, there you go. How to spend 5 to 10 minutes of a student concert when we've only got 2 performers to take advantage of that. All right, so back in the present and back in the moment. The weather's amazing outside, really windy and cold, so be careful on your way home, and don't be texting while you're on an e-scooter. I had a student in my seminar this morning who pretty much walked straight across the road from the Queen Victoria Infirmary after having gotten a casualty, having been texting on his e-scooter. So that's a safety message to everybody out there. Don't use the e-scooters, or if you do, don't text. Okay, what else can I say? My name is Will, and I'm about to start introducing the first performance. So, the first person that we've got out of our two performances this afternoon is going to be Rachel Todd, playing the piano accordion. She's going to be playing two sets, The Last Train to Lanark by Andrew Waite, and Talenthy by Toon van Mierlo, and the second set is an unnamed self-written tune. Please, everybody, could you welcome Rachel Todd. finally, if we've got questions from the audience, there's a second mic. Could I have that maybe? There is one. There isn't. Okay. Okay. Thanks, Rachel. That was amazing. Loads of questions I've got, and I'll see if anybody's got any others. Actually, what I'll start asking, the first one I've got is about that last piece, right? The melody. Tell us about that, because you've got a beautiful chord progression going on, some really lovely suspensions in there. It's really nice. What are you trying to evoke with that? I mean, the first. Sorry. How do I select 10 questions at once? I need to get into this. The first piece is very evocative of particular things. That thing that you've just played, which is your own composition, is it still untitled?
Yeah.
Is it you trying to evoke something in the same way that the earlier pieces did, or?
I'm not really sure. I kind of just wrote it as a bit of a exercise in actually finishing writing a tune.
Okay.
I think that's something that's always hard to do. Just kind of, you always feel like you have to write something perfect. So I just wanted to write something as well.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just wondering if we should get Rachel on that mic over there? Yeah. I'll move over here, and then you can come. It's not too heavy to be standing there with that, is it?
No.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, with the melody in that, right? Is there a lot of improvisation going on? I mean, is that something you composed?
I think the way I wrote it, I started with chords and then just kind of recorded myself playing over those and took what I liked. So yeah, I suppose it is quite improvisatory in that sense.
Something I've got, when I'm watching you play, I tried the accordion once, and I'm one of these people, unlike Beth Kirkley, off the top of my head from the last time I presented, I can't really sing and play guitar unless it's in an easy rhythm to go with the vocals. I can't play complicated guitar parts and then sing a lead line. When I tried the accordion, because I got given one, I found exactly the same problem with the breathing. So, I mean, it's not the breathing, but it's the breathing of the instrument, right? That's really, really difficult. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that and how that...
Yeah, I mean, it's something that's still kind of challenging when I'm practicing today.
Right.
You can't plan bellows changes because it depends on how loud you're playing and whether you change couplets halfway through or you're doing slightly different chords. You just kind of have to have it in the back of your mind. Especially slower pieces are actually kind of harder because you have to think about where you're going to change in the next phrase. So you're thinking about the bit that you're about to play as well.
So you're saying it's something that you can't just sort of get it established as a kind of muscle memory technique and then just let it do it by itself. You have to think about it.
I think it gets easier, but definitely, there's certain pieces I play that are harder than others when it comes to bellows changes, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I play the double bass, and I do find it's the same principle with the bowing, but that's something you can kind of learn physically. You can kind of there's so many bowing exercises to help you develop that skill about how long a bow length should be and all the rest of it, but the breathing thing, man. So you still find that challenging?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Sorry, can I ask one more question about the technique? What's going on with the melody lines not always being louder than the accompaniment? How do you make the melody line come out more? You did that quite a lot as the melody grew in that, it came out much more pronounced. And I was like, how did you do that? Did you press harder?
I think it's just kind of the physics of the accordion. So at the minute, at the start of that piece, I had a single reed on the right hand. You can either have single reed to the tuned at the same note, or you can have the octave. So that affects how loud this side is. So it's quite quiet with the single reed, and I had quite a loud bass coupler on. Then the more air you put into it, the balance seems to kind of change. I think maybe the treble's a bit more receptive to putting more air through it. So
yeah. Has anybody got any questions from the floor? I've got one more, which is a really obvious old school question. When did you start and how did you start?
I started maybe 5 years ago now. I started music as a classical violinist, but I started playing folk music and I met all these people playing these cool instruments, so I was like, I want one.
What inspired you to do that?
There was quite a few players that I saw at the time, so people like Hannah James, who I think the year I started playing, she released Jigdoll, which is it's a really good folk album. And yeah, I was just kind of like, I want to do that. So I actually borrowed an accordion from the Sage Gateshead for
Right.
a couple of years before getting my own. 'Cause
Yeah.
they just gave me one for free, which was
Yeah.
surprisingly nice.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is that? That's like 48, or is it
This is 96 bass.
96? Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And how many chord? No, I'm not going to ask. That's just a stupid question. Right. Yeah. It's just going way too far into the instrument. One more thing. Composition. You're doing that, right? As a final year specialism.
I did it last year because I'm part-time, so
Yeah.
my modules are split over last year and this year.
I remember I was chairing your
Yeah.
your panel. That's quite. What can you just tell us a little bit about what you're doing with that? Because you're not composing for the accordion for that, are you?
No, for my minor composition, I was writing for fiddles. There was a little bit of accordion, but mainly fiddles, and I think there was a whistle in there, and then there was some kind of synthy field recording bits.
Yeah, the field recording
yeah.
stuff. Yeah, is that something that is a big part of your kind of creativity, that using recordings and electronic music and that stuff?
It's something I enjoy doing. It's something I don't really have many opportunities to do at the minute, and it's always hard kind of trying to get yourself to learn more of something without that motivation. But yeah, I do really enjoy putting it in.
You said at the beginning that that was an exercise in just finishing a piece, right? Do you have lots of fragments?
Yeah, a fair few at the minute, yeah.
Is there a way have you thought about a way that the fragments somehow start to move towards the field recordings in your creative universe, that then somehow the field recordings and the fragments can then become like a more extended project? And
that's not a bad idea, to be honest, to get
well,
something out of all the work that's just sitting on my phone recordings at the minute. So yeah, could probably do that.
It's a funny one, that, isn't it? Because the fragments can be so brilliant, and why not just leave them as little miniatures, Because sometimes you can overwrite a song or a piece.
Yeah.
Thanks for standing here and listening to all my questions.
Yeah, that's all right.
Really great, really enjoyed the performance. Rachel, Todd, everybody.
Thanks.
So, while Chance gets ready, I'll just say that this is the last time I'm presenting until after Easter, as far as I remember. So, another date in your diary is March the 18th. Well, March the 16th, Larry's doing the finalist showcase in the Boiler House. He normally likes to do that at this age, but that hasn't been possible this time. So the finalist showcase is happening in the Boiler House on the 16th of March. Go to that. As per before COVID, he's invited us to put forward a couple of the live screening groups that did their assessment a few weeks ago for MUS 2059, the second year pop performance composition module. And those are going to be amazing, so go along for those if nothing else. And then on the Saturday, on the Friday, whatever the 18th is, it's a Friday night. If you go down to the Star and Shadow, in fact, Friday night and Saturday night, the BBC are up here doing their After Dark Festival, which covers all their new music programs. It covers the new music program, it covers the Late Junction, and it covers their Saturday night Freeness, which is an improv thing. That's happening in Newcastle. A lot of our people are involved in it. On the Friday, I'm performing at the Star and Shadow with my daughter, which is the first time that we're playing a gig. I'm about to go and tour with her right now, but it's the first time we've done a gig in the UK since December the 31st, 2018. And that was at the New Year's Eve party at Star and Shadow. So if anybody's never been to the Star and Shadow, get down there anyway, because it's amazing and it's a great cinema. I could do this kind of promotion stuff in a better voice, couldn't I, really? I had a mate at school who went to work for the BBC in Bristol, BBC West, and after he'd been like there for about 6 months, he'd come back and he'd suddenly be talking like, "Hey Will, if you switch that kettle on a different way, and or if you let the tea brew for a bit longer, all of a sudden he had this kind of media voice because he'd been trained, which I thought was hilarious. I haven't seen him for about 30 years, which is weird, but there you go. Our second performance, and it's our last performance for the day. Next week there is a student concert. I know for a fact that one of the bands from the Jazz Today module is going to be performing next week, and that's not to miss. James Davis, Beth Kirkley, Elle Reid, and Shanna Thomason, and that's an amazing quartet. So don't miss that next Thursday, COVID permitting. Right, okay, so thanks for waiting all this time. Our last performer is Chance Rain, he's going to be singing and playing guitar, and he's going to be performing Sandwood Down to Kyle and I Dare You. And I dare you to step on the stage and entertain us. Chance Rain.
Yeah, so this first piece is Sandwood Down to Kyle. It's written by Dave Golder, and it's about this guy, and he's travelling from Sandwood down to Kyle, like the title says, and he bumps into this man, and he's asking why you're going from Sandwood down to Kyle, because it's a bit of a weird walk on the northwest of Scotland. So yeah, hope you enjoy it.
One Monday morn as I walked out, the wild birds for to see, I met a man upon the road and asked for charity. I met a man upon the road and asked for charity. Come home with me and drink your fill, and comfort you shall find. And tell me why you walk the road that leaves the hills behind. And tell me why you walk the road that leaves the hills behind. For time has spent the summer, sir, and soon the leaves will fall. I hear the sound within the wind that plays around your walls. I hear the sound within the wind that plays around your walls. bird must flee the winter, sir. She cannot stay behind to build her nest upon the snow. Nor can I look for mine to build her nest upon the snow. Nor can I look for mine. If I had 100 homes to live in each a while, I'd build them all along the coast, from Sandwood down to Kyle. I'd build them all along the coast, from Sandwood down to Kyle.
Thank you. This next piece is called I Dare You. It's another piece in Dadgad. Hope you like it. Thank you.
Thanks, Chance. So yeah, if you could speak into the mic there, sort of thing. That was amazing. Yeah, I'll ask some questions, and then yeah, I've got lots of questions. Sorry, why am I not be able to do this today? The finger picking's amazing, especially that little passage in that last piece you did. Mm-hmm. I don't know that one. I know the John Renbourn, and I think pretty much you're playing how he plays that, right?
Pretty much, yeah. I changed a few little bits, but but the majority, yeah.
Really well played.
Oh, thank
really
you.
Nicely done. I haven't heard that. I'll start with the first one then, the Sand Down to Kyle. I haven't heard that for a long time. The Ship of Fools is the version I know. But your vocal style in that is kind of really interesting, and I'm trying to remember if that's very Renborny, or is that something? Have you done something else with the vocals there?
Most of the vocals are kind of how John Renborn does it. Some of it I've kind of changed a little bit. I'm still trying to figure out how to sing properly, to be honest. I haven't been doing it too long, so I'm just kind of, just going with it.
Well, my tip would be stop trying to learn how to sing properly and learn how to sing improperly. But I mean, I'm not joking either. But yeah, that's interesting. I mean, just to get into detail a little bit, like I did with Rachel, actually, the way you did the ending the phrases in that first one was really interesting, because you're declaiming in a kind of quite speechy way, which seems to suit the song really well. But then you've got that really, it's a nice glissando thing that you do right at the end of the line. Oh, like that. It doesn't sound like that. That sounds horrible. But do you know what I mean? Do you know what I'm talking about? It's this way of the cadence is sort of closed off really nicely in this kind of little glissando. Is that something that you've tried out deliberately, or is that natural to you?
I think the ending of the phrase is, I think ages ago I had like a sore throat or something, and I was struggling to sing properly.
Or today?
No, not today, no.
All right, okay.
But I hope it doesn't sound like I've got a sore throat.
No, it doesn't, but you never know.
No.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it was with that I was kind of singing a little bit less and speaking a bit more, and it kind of suited the song a little bit, so I just kept doing it like that.
Right, so it was kind of an accident due to the sore throat, and then you thought, oh, I quite like that. Yeah. What's your range? Do you go quite high as well?
I don't know. Are we talking falsetto as well?
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah.
I mean, I think I tried measuring it once when I was just starting. I think it was like 2.5 octaves or something. But to be fair, like lots of the notes just sounded like a cat in a shower or something. But yeah, I think it's about that. I should probably get around to doing that again. How much of that is usable? I'm not sure of it, because it's a very small range in the Renborn song.
Yeah, for that sort of material. I mean, is the second one Renborn as well?
No, that's by Tony Skinner, I should have said.
All right. No, that's cool. Similar sort of range, I guess. I mean, you know, especially for the idiom. I mean, is this basically where you're intending to keep ploughing your furrow in this kind of folk song tradition?
I think so. Yeah, I really like. I like dadgad stuff. I like how it, like the guitar rings a little bit more. I just think it's a nice tuning to play, and I've been exploring that a lot lately. Yeah.
Well, there was a question in the chat about dadgad and explaining what it is. I mean, it's basically a tuning of the guitar.
Yeah.
Do you use other tunings?
I use like open G sometimes, but and occasionally drop D.
Okay.
But no, mainly I play. At the moment, it's kind of like 50-50 between standard and dadgad, but obviously it's a bit of a faff, like tuning from one to the other if you're performing.
I got 2 questions about the guitar since we got there, but maybe there are some questions from the floor for chance. Any questions? My questions, first one's really just pointlessly nerdy, but I'm listening to your bands and the fluency of the movement around the fretboard with those. What gauge are you playing on that?
I'm not sure.
Oh, all right. That's kind of stumped me, because I'm thinking if you're like 12 or 13, then you've got very strong fingers, but you haven't. So you're basically saying you haven't deliberately gone to a lighter gauge in order to do that.
Yeah. No, I just got. I think they're just like elixir strings. That's the one I went for. I just saw they were good for alternate tunings, like you won't snap a string, hopefully. Right. So that's what made me gravitate towards them. But I should probably know the gauge of my guitar strings, to be honest.
I'm not seeing any tuner around. Do you tune by ear if you're changing the tunings?
I've got a tuner
it's
here.
On there, right, okay.
I mean, it doesn't do every tuning I want. So like sometimes, you know, if I want like a G sharp or something like that, I'd do it by ear instead. But for standard tuning and dadgad, it works just fine.
Yeah. It's just pointless saying this, but I might as well, because I'm playing a lot more electric guitar than I had done for years. And I'm getting to this thing where I'm allowing it to mature like a really smelly cheese. By not tuning it and not tuning it and not tuning it. In each session, each time I perform, I just let it get even further out. And it's really enjoyable to do that. But I'm guessing you won't be pursuing that kind of sound for a while. Tell us a bit about the finger picking, because that's really good. That's really, you've got some great technique there. Is that just coming from learning songs like that, or have you pursued it in other directions?
Well, when I first started learning guitar, my old tutor just gave me loads of classical stuff. So I think that certainly helped a lot. But yeah, I do like fingerstyle playing, and I like when I started singing, I used to just do it was like learning guitar all over again, singing and playing at the same time.
But
I thought
there was a compliment to how good you're doing, how well you're doing that, by the way. Having followed up from what I was saying earlier in the chat, somebody was very impressed with that. So
yeah, I think it just makes up for the singing a little bit if the guitar's a little bit more complex. But yeah, it's quite satisfying as well playing a fingerstyle guitar part and singing at the same time once you get it.
I mean, you haven't got anything on your right hand now. Are you playing with nails for all of that as well? You don't use whatever the thing is that you
the thumb pick. No, I'm just using nails at the moment. I don't like having my nails long on my hand because it's just like a bit awkward having them long on one hand, short on the other. But for finger picking pieces like this, it just sounds so much better.
And you've got we could go on for hours, right? But you've got quite a nice attack. It's not too aggressive. Yeah, so I'm guessing that you don't tend to break nails that much. I mean, what about when you do gigs or play out? Do you have any issues with breaking nails and stuff like that?
No, thankfully I haven't had any issues just yet. No.
I mean, I'm guessing that you've just got a technique that doesn't put too much strain on them, basically. When I'm playing fingerstyle, I'm like, I really want to dig into the strings, and it's like then you get into trouble. The finger picking thing, Phil Begg, one of our lecturers here, you may have had for some of your classes, he's somebody that has a big background in that. Even on the electric, he plays beautiful stuff. But he got me into a lot of people like John Fahey. I don't know if you've come across him.
Heard of him, yeah.
He's definitely worth looking at. And Jack Rose as well, I've been listening to in the last couple of weeks. Guy who died tragically young, amazing fingerstyle guitarist who also learned how to play Indian rags really, really convincingly on an acoustic guitar. Definitely recommend that to anybody, guitarist or not. All right, there you go. I managed to fill it. Look, it's 4:45 in 2 acts. I managed to get 45 minutes out of asking loads of questions and making people stand here and then promoting all sorts of other stuff. So thanks, Chance, and thanks, Rachel, and thanks to Fred and Rob. I'd like to thank my mum and dad. And okay. Listen, don't forget, it's Mariam next week presenting, and it's hopefully going to be a fuller bill so you get more music to listen to. But in the meantime, stay safe and stay off those e-bikes, or whatever they're called. Cheers.